You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison. Welcome, listeners, to the first episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. I am your host, Andre Hagverdian, and with me is co-host Paul Garrison. How are you doing today, Paul?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I'm doing great as well. The Aztecs had a great season. We did a lot of coverage, and one thing we had wanted to do was also add to that coverage by adding a podcast and providing Aztec fans another avenue to hear from us, but mainly hear from players, coaches, anyone that's contributing to the program. And that's kind of our intent for this podcast.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, one of the first projects that you and I did together, Andre, we interviewed Donnell Pumphrey. Remember that? And right. Donnell's great. I mean, he gave us so many different quotes, and humbly, I think I did a good job on putting together an article, right? It was definitely one of our top 10 most viewed articles of the year. But even writing a few thousand words from that interview, we probably only put in about 40% of what we could have put in. And hearing Donnell in his own voice is another medium that we can use to get what is happening with the SDSU football community out there. And so we're going to continue to do our articles. We're going to continue to put together all of the things that we're doing. But in addition, right, we want to be able to have this podcast out, allowing fans to hear in their own voice what these players and coaches and people in the community are saying and thinking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of ideas that a lot of the fans are going to want to hear. And as the off season progresses, we're going to bring that to them. And so I'm excited. I know you're excited about getting this kicked off.
Without question, man. Let's do it.
For our first episode, we're going to take a quick look back at the 2021 season, a historic season for San Diego State, first time ever with 12 victories. What were your main takeaways from the season, Paul?
Well, I mean, you just said it right there. It's a historic season, right? First time that the Aztecs have won 12 games. And I think as the season wore on, the difficulty of playing in Carson increased. You could see the wear on the players. I guess they wanted to get out of the post-game interview quicker. There was just a level of discomfort from having to play in Carson. I will say one of my favorite things, I mean, if I was going to put together a top 10 list of what I'm excited about the new stadium, as a person in the media, I am so looking forward to no longer having to converse with fans about if they should have played with Carson to begin with. Like, I am tired of that conversation. It was 2 years ago. The decision was made. It's time to move on. So now instead we'll argue about how big the stadium should be. Anyway, so I'm really impressed personally of what these kids and the coaches, what they dealt with to get to these 12 wins. They did not have the opportunity for a great home field. They didn't have the opportunity to have, the home crowd create momentum that could move into the season. It was like every game was its own entity, and they had to build their momentum for each game by itself. And it was a feat to get to 12 games. What about you, man?
Yeah, I think the school decided to play games in Carson. The players didn't get a vote, right? So it's more than valid to say, the players had to overcome the fact that they didn't have a home stadium and had to travel and play like that. So it's definitely was challenging, and it was impressive to see the team overcome that. It's also a key takeaway is obviously the punk god, Matt Ariza. His rise to national fame, I think, was unexpected. It was great to see because, you see San Diego State in College Game Day, video segments. I don't know that had happened before, maybe, Rashad Penny and Donald Pumphrey moments, but since then it was, and obviously a punter at it. And I think in addition to that and the defense becoming such a force at times, defense and special teams carrying the team to victories while the offense was trying to figure itself out. I think towards the end of the season, the passing game definitely picked up. Jesse Matthews got more involved. Obviously a lot to look forward to moving forward to next season.
Yeah, and I think you hit on a really good takeaway for me as well. Those quarterbacks, they really grinded to get better throughout the entire season. Every single incompletion, there was some fan yelling, put in Haskell, and they had to weather that. They had to weather, I not have the number in front of me, but I think something like 44 passing yards against Utah is what Johnson put up, and to go from that to setting a Frisco Bowl record with 333 yards is a great testament to endurance. I mean, at the end of the day, we are still talking about amateur sports. I mean, don't tell that to Texas A&M, whose boosters just spent $30 million on their recruiting class. But for the rest of the country, minus a few of these schools, it's still an amateur game. And to see somebody like Johnson lose the starting job that was almost handed to him, early in spring camp, like he had every opportunity to win it and he didn't. And then to come back and to lead the team in passing, Jordan Brookshire, likewise. I mean, he's there. He earns the starting job, has that great performance in the first half against Arizona, gets injured, and he's just not the same, and then he loses the starting job. He loses everything, but yet he has his hero moment, right? He comes in and out of nowhere, throws for, 250 plus yards or whatever it was against Boise State. And so I think following like the arc and that story, I think was really, really special as well.
Yeah, the Haskell comment definitely fits because we all heard it, whether it was on social media or during games. Seeing a true freshman coming into a program, just because they may be more talented than the guys in front of them doesn't mean that they're going to produce and lead the team to victories. Looking back on it, what a Will Haskell-led team and from the beginning of the season on ended up 12-2. We don't know. Who knows? He might have put up more passing numbers. He might have thrown more touchdowns, but there could have been more turnovers, or the running game might not have worked out. So I think the team maximized its potential for 2021 with a 12-win season. There's a big what if when it comes to the Mountain West Conference Championship game and the COVID outbreak. Who knows? I add that to the what if of, San Diego State basketball in the March Madness 2 years ago with the Malachi Flynn team. What if, they got a chance to play? Would they have made the first Final Four in San Diego State history? We don't know. And I think this will be a big what if as well.
Well, I think we are less than 10 minutes into our inaugural episode, and Andre has already broken the rule and ventured into another sport. This is the SDSU football podcast. I don't know if you realize the name. We had a lot of great opportunities of people. Fear the Spear, I think, was a good one. Tech Talk, a lot of different ones. We stuck with the SDSU football podcast. And like I said, Andre's already breaking that rule, but I agree with you. I mean, I think that Utah State was a really good team. I mean, they did a great job this season, obviously walking away as the champion, both of the Mountain West and the LA Bowl, the inaugural LA Bowl. But there is always going to be that what if. The Aztecs use the tight end better as much as anyone else, as we'll see later in the episode. And in doing that, they never got the opportunity to play how they play best. It wasn't the Aggies who took away the Aztecs offense. It was COVID, because they didn't have a tight end to be able to play and use play action and all of the kind of, I guess, smoke and mirrors that make Hecklinski's offense good. That's what they do best, right? So there is always going to be that what if about the season. However, what makes college football great is that wasn't the last taste that we had in our mouth because of the season, just like, in basketball, the Aztecs had a great season last year, but the taste that you remember is Syracuse, and Syracuse, was so difficult of a game that it's just, man, it marred so much of the great season that they had before that. But the Aztecs got another opportunity and went out in the Frisco Bowl, ironically, against another team that its strength was lessened, although some of those were self-inflicted, as a lot of their players opted out, to enter the NFL draft. So I think 12-2, like you said, I'm not sure what could have been done to have done better than that. Obviously, if they had won 22, you could say that, and that opportunity. 12-2 was a great year, and given all of the things that they fought against, all of the challenges that they had, it's pretty darn special.
We recapped what happened in 2021, but it's time to move the page. The year has turned, so it's time for us to look at 2022. And an important way to look at 2022 is to look at new incoming players. The Aztecs signed 14 class of 22 incoming freshmen on signing day on December 15th. 3 of those freshmen have decided to enroll early and will be on campus in mid-January. And
someone should interview them.
I'm glad you asked that. We actually got a chance to talk to all 3 of those guys, ask them why they enrolled early, what they're looking to accomplish, and kind of find out a little bit about themselves that I believe Aztec fans will want to know.
Yeah, no doubt. And first of all, all 3 of these kids, they're great kids. That's the first thing that will immediately come across to you. And we've had the interviews, we've done the interviews, and we're kind of getting our intro into that. So we did that this week, and they are definitely the type of kids that of great character that you are used to from an Aztec team. And I think that I was really excited to hold the interviews along with Andre, because you do get a look into what the 2022 season is about. And of course, 2 of them are quarterbacks, right? And everyone still is hoping for that next great Aztec quarterback to come through. And Kyle Crum and Liu Amavai is a great opportunity to be that person. And so we're going to get to talk to them coming up shortly.
Our first guest is Kyle Crum, quarterback out of Norco, California. This past season at Norco High School, Crum, the team captain, was named league MVP as he threw for 2,599 yards and 22 touchdowns with only 7 interceptions. Hey, Kyle, welcome, and thank you for being a guest on the inaugural episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Kyle, here's the thing I want to know, man. You are a wildly decorated high school quarterback, right? For Norco High School, you led your team to a win over Corona Centennial. And Corona Centennial, for those of you who do not know, they're the team that came down to San Diego and took out Cathedral Catholic at the beginning of the year, completely destroyed them. Corona Centennial plays in the same league as Norco. And over the last 12 years, they have lost all of 1 game. And Kyle was the quarterback who led Norco to that 1 win over Corona Centennial in the last 12 years of anybody in the league. So through all of that, and I'll say another thing too, this year, Corona Centennial, 10th ranked team in the nation. The most points they gave up the entire season was 24 points because Kyle Crum threw for over 300 yards. And so he's leading his team. You watch the highlights of the Corona Centennial Norco game, and Kyle is going crazy in it. He is dodging rushers. He's pump faking. It was great. But given all of those accolades, how great you played, your recruiting didn't take off. And that's one of the real kind of surprising things. Quarterbacks who don't look anywhere near as good as you on tape are getting offers. Your offer came late from San Diego State. You signed a couple days later. So the question is, how were you able during the recruiting process to stay focused on football, given the fact that maybe the recruiting process wasn't going as fast as you would have liked it?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you hyping me up too, but it was for sure a frustrating process for me. Definitely in the beginning and middle of the season. Like I would spend hours just DMing coaches on Twitter, just reaching out, trying to get my film seen. I think a lot of it had to do with college coaches not being able to come on campus because of the restrictions and things like that. So I just tried to stay focused and keep working out, keep getting better. So that way, whenever my chance did come, I was ready for it. So whenever Coach Cooper called me the first time, and then Coach Hecht, I was excited. And then once they offered, I wanted to lock it up as soon as possible because I just felt like that was the best spot for me.
You are one of 14 class of 2022 signings for San Diego State, so congratulations. But you're one of 3 that stated that you're going to be enrolling early this coming semester. Why did you choose to enroll early?
I wanted to get a head start on especially learning the plays as a quarterback, just getting as much of that under my belt as I can early. And honestly, I just felt like it would be beneficial for me all around to be with the team, especially as a quarterback, I want to be the leader. So making those bonds and those connections, and then also just getting my body bigger and stronger. Even working out at home is not the same as a college weight room. So I just feel like the earlier I could move in and get started, the better chance I'll have of starting on the field next upcoming season.
So can you walk us through the process of actually graduating high school early? What goes, as for someone like me, I didn't graduate high school early. I don't think Paul did either. What goes through that process, and is there challenges, or is it pretty straightforward?
Yeah, it wasn't too difficult. I had to take Gov online and my second semester language arts online. So while I was taking my normal classes, I would do those whenever I got home. So it was definitely extra workload for the first semester. But once I knocked out those 2 classes, I think it took me a month or 2. Then everything was done. So after the first semester, I had enough credits to graduate.
I like that. I hope Coach Hall's listening to this podcast and wants to hear that you want to get into the weight room, man. I did not, Andre, graduate early. In fact, it took me 10 years to get my 4-year degree from state. So, but that's for another conversation. So, Kyle, when is it, man, that you're actually going to be stepping on campus?
January 17th, I'll move in.
Awesome. And what are your, I guess, priorities coming into the program?
Priorities, I want to establish myself as a leader from the beginning, as someone the guys respect and someone they could look up to, because my goal is to start as soon as possible, my freshman year, ideally. So I want these guys who are, they're grown men. So I want them to be able to look at me, even though I'm younger than them, as someone who they can respect to lead them and someone to be followed on the field.
Okay, so then how do you do that? I mean, what are some of the strategies, some of the ideas that you have to being that leader and having these grown men go and be able to follow you onto the field?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what I've been doing. My whole career is just I feel like as long as you can do the right things day in and day out, be the first one in the weight room, taking extra reps on the field, not taking shortcuts. Guys see little things like that and they respect it. So I just want to be somebody that's doing the right thing all the time. So I think that's what I want to try to establish myself as.
And so, you're heading into spring camp. Obviously, San Diego State had a very a big quarterback competition last year. They had 3 guys in spring camp. They had 4 in fall camp. They had, they started 2 different quarterbacks. How have you developed any kind of rapport with any of the quarterbacks that are going to be in spring camp with you? And how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I met Will Haskell and of course Liu, who's coming in my class, but I haven't really seen either of them play too much. So, but all I know is that the job is open right now with the 2 seniors leaving. So I'm excited for the opportunity that's there and the chance to compete.
And the San Diego State has predominantly been a run-oriented offense over the years. the passing game is, ranked low statistically. How does San Diego State turn that around and become more of a balanced or more of a pass-centric offense?
I'm hoping that I'm the missing piece for that equation. I feel like they have the receivers and the O-line to create time and to get open. So I think they have all the pieces, and I want to be the one that could just get them the ball there. And I think if our passing attack is successful, then it'll shift to more of a balance between run and pass.
Now, Kyle, unless I'm missing somebody, the last true freshman quarterback to start for the Aztecs wound up getting drafted in the 7th round. Did you know this?
I didn't.
Yeah, Nick Bowden, but he was drafted as a fullback.
Okay.
So I just putting that out there. It's the legacy there.
I think I saw him on the field yesterday. I forget what team he was on, but he was on special team somewhere.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. I mean, he was an unbelievable fullback, but he was a true freshman starter. He came in late in the year and very, very competitive guy, as you can imagine, with the fullback position. But legacy, man, talking a little about legacy, you're coming in and San Diego State's opening up a new stadium. Big deal for those of us in San Diego, extending that into the campus and coming years, etc. But what are your thoughts, man, about being able to be part of that first team that's going to be playing in that new stadium?
Yeah, that's a special thing. They took us to the construction site on our official visit, so we got to actually walk around on the field, and it's built like very vertically, where it feels like everyone's like right on top of you, so there's not a bad seat in the whole place. So it was just special to be in there looking up and just imagining it in a couple months filled with fans. And then also I think it's a unique opportunity for San Diego, especially since they're the only other really pro sport team is the Padres in there. So I think it's going to attract all kinds of sports fans, even if they're not specifically football fans. People who just want to come watch a game will come out, and it's going to be great.
All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
All right, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Favorite food?
Pasta, any type.
Any type.
I'll go spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Now, what kind of sauce on the top?
Red sauce on the top with Parmesan cheese.
Nice. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
TV show is The Office.
Old school. There you go. What is your favorite music artist group? What do you got playing right now?
I like a little bit of everything. I think I like Sublime, probably.
Okay.
They're old school.
Yeah, I know. Listen, this guy might be a true freshman, but he's coming in. He sounds like a 5th-year senior. Who's your favorite professional athlete? Don't say Michael Jordan.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another one. Why Tim Tebow?
I just remember I read all of his books growing up, and he's just a great leader, great competitor. So I always idolized him. Incredible.
What is your favorite hobby, like outside of getting ready to lead the Aztecs as a true freshman?
I like to play basketball, and I've been into surfing this last year. So those are probably my two hobbies I like.
And what is some of the potential majors you're thinking about for San Diego State?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna major in mechanical engineering.
Okay, so definitely not the degree that I got that took me 10 years to get. It's very good.
Definitely not mine either. Is there anything that we haven't asked you about outside of football that you think Aztec fans should know about? What kind of player was coming in on the team?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I try to be open book. So anything you have for me, I'm willing to share. But I don't really know outside of your questions what else.
Cool. Well, definitely appreciate your time today. Good luck in spring camp. And I know both of us look forward to seeing your development over the next few years at San Diego State.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again soon.
Right on. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
Our next guest is Liu Amavai from Provo, Utah. This past season, playing for Timpview High School, Liu threw for 2,971 yards and 28 touchdowns, leading his team to a league title. Welcome, Liu, and thank you for being a guest on the inaugural episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me today. Super excited.
Yeah, if you reach your goals at San Diego State, you're going to become a household name in San Diego. Could you pronounce your full name for us so Aztec Nation can start practicing it?
So my full first name is Liu Motumotu Aana Ilafi.
All right, one more time.
Liu Motumotu Aana Ilafi.
Now, does that name have any, like, what do you gather from that name and the significance of its meaning?
So it means a lot to me because I'm named after my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather. And it's pretty much a family name. It's been passed down. And so my dad's name is actually like the Christian version of his name. So when they were colonizing Samoa, they obviously couldn't pronounce Liu Motumotu Ani Leafi, so they called him Andrew. And so it's almost like being named after my dad.
It's incredible. You're one of 14 for the class of 2022 signing with SSU, but you're only one of 3 who are enrolling early. Why was it important for you to enroll early?
I felt that there's a lot to gain from getting in early. First off, I could get in winter workouts and just start bonding with my new teammates. And then especially having the chance to come in and compete during spring ball, that was huge for me. And then honestly, like educationally wise, I want to graduate within 3 years because I want to use as much of my scholarship to make sure I'm getting my education as well.
Now, your dad is a quarterback coach, trainer. What was it like to be his son and to be coached by your dad?
It comes with a lot. Like there's obviously like I get all the training he does. I get to be around a lot of like incredible people, like being around the whole 11th circuit growing up. It provided a lot, but it also provided like that, not like a nice like hard edge for me to like learn what it's like to have certain expectations, even from a young age. Yes, people are like, oh, he's a kid. Like you could give him slack. Like I didn't feel I had that room. I felt like my dad's a quarterback trainer to some extent. I had to live to expectation of being a quarterback trainer's son. Like,
how do you, as a quarterback, I guess, disagree with your dad, who's also your quarterback trainer? You know what I mean? Like, how do you chart what you think is best for you versus, it's your dad. It's hard to be able to contradict him or to, kind of chart your own path.
So a huge part of that was, especially like these last couple of years being here in Utah, like our relationship really grew to the point where he has the understanding of like I'm developing into like a more mature human being, and like he understands that, but he knows the path more. Like he's seen guys go through the whole process of going to college, coming back from college, training, all the different ups and downs of different people. And I understand like everything he's saying is like at the end of the day, he wants the best for me. And like with that goal, like with that being the goal, we both like, we talk a lot of stuff out, and it's really good for us.
So how does the process actually work for you to graduate early?
So basically, I'm finishing up my final credits. I had to finish up a couple of graduation requirements for the school. Like I have a business office specialist class, but I already turned in all my paperwork. And I'm pretty much making sure I'm ready to go come after anything after January 14th.
What's the significance of January 14th?
That's when we end our school term out here. So I'll be officially graduated from SimView.
And when did you decide that you were going to enroll early?
I had been on the fence early this year. So for my senior year, I had started out. I started with a really heavy course load, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe I'll do this and try like, let me just challenge myself for my senior year, not just try to take it easy, see what I can do with like, so I can have schooling, and I can have like, if I need to stay the full year for some schools, I'll stay. But I was ready to like pretty much early graduate once I got the offer. Once I got the offer of San Diego State, I was like, okay, this is business time. I'm ready to rechange my schedule so that I'm ready to graduate come January.
Now, when will you actually get to SDSU's campus?
So we're planning right now to drive down January 16th, and then we're going to kind of take our time, spend those last couple of days with my family, and then I should be on campus around January 17th, 18th, around that timetable.
And what are your priorities coming into the program? Are you coming in early because you want to contribute right away?
So I'm coming in early, basically to start that bonding with my teammates, with my new teammates. I'm ready to start those new relationships, and I'm ready to come in and just start learning from Coach Heck. There's a lot of football I can learn from him, and there's obviously I had to learn the entire new playbook. So I'm really excited because like that's like what's been really exciting to me is that I get to come in, I get to learn more football, be around more football, and then once again I'm going back to I want to start like my education as well, and then I really want to make sure I'm a part of spring ball. I feel like that's a huge part of like playing in college and like making sure that I can come in and like prove myself and show basically that I'm willing to contribute to the team however is necessary.
So then could you talk a little bit more about spring camp? What is it that you're looking forward to and excited about?
I really enjoy just football. Like I really enjoy every aspect about it. Like I enjoy the hard times at practice or the long practices. I enjoy the meetings. And then to know that like in the end that there's still like a spring ball game that can come out and still play in or have the opportunity to most likely play in, like that's huge. And I just enjoy everything about football. So being around it is super exciting for me.
Now, SDSU historically has been a very run-oriented team. Coach Heck is moving it towards being more balanced, right? But what do you think is some of the keys for the Aztecs to have more success passing the ball?
I can't say much because I wasn't in the room this year. I wasn't around the team. I wasn't in very many of the meetings, or any of the meetings actually. I wasn't in any of them, and so I can't exactly say what happened. And that I just want to begin this journey and just start learning with my new teammates.
And you're going to be part of the freshman class that gets to open up a brand new stadium. How exciting is that, for yourself to be able to be part of that inaugural freshman class?
It's really exciting because part of our official is we actually got to go tour the stadium. Like we signed everything to make sure that we were able to go in, and it's actually really cool seeing like what's planned. And I just think Aztec Nation is really going to enjoy what's coming this fall.
So you ready for some rapid fire questions, non-football related questions?
Okay. Yes.
What's your favorite food?
I have to go with some sort of lasagna or pasta type. I love lasagna and pasta.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Ooh, best TV show of all time, hands down, has to be The Office. You could pick any. Wow. You could pick any episode. Like it's got to be The Office.
So funny you say that because we talked to Kyle Crum as well, and he said The Office was his favorite TV show as well. So it must be some quarterback connection there.
Man, that's insane. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
And he also said pasta was his favorite. Now he went with spaghetti, but only after being pushed, So, man, talk about bonding. You guys can go watch The Office while eating pasta together.
What are you listening to music wise? Who's your favorite musical artist or group?
I love NBA YoungBoy. That's by far the best. That's the best artist in my opinion. I can listen to any of his songs pretty much anytime.
Favorite professional athlete?
I love Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers, there's so much that he does as a quarterback that it's really just inspiring to me, just watching him throw the ball and how he carries himself.
Favorite hobby?
I'm a big gamer. I love video games. Like, it gives me a chance to even compete off the field. So I love playing video games. I love just trying. Yeah, I try very hard when it comes to video games.
Do you? I'm just curious. Did you ever play Madden growing up?
Yeah, I did actually. I played a lot of Madden.
Yeah, I was. Obviously John Madden passing away
Right.
last week or earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, with me, I grew up on Madden, and I feel like I, got to learn so much about, the game of football just by playing Madden. So, and I know there's a lot of people out there like me that are kind of in that same boat. So
I know it's crazy hearing him passing, like just thinking like how Madden really has been a huge part of my life. Like that's one game I always love playing against my friends, and like just knowing like it's crazy to me still that he passed away.
Yeah, and then the last rapid fire is what are you majoring in or planning on majoring in at San Diego State?
So I'm gonna go in undeclared, but I do want to aim towards being a business finance major. But I'm just gonna leave myself open until I truly find what I'm looking to do.
Leo, did you know that Aaron Rodgers was committed to San Diego State?
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they changed coaches, and the new coaching staff didn't extend the offer. So he ended up going to JC and then to Cal.
Wow.
But his only offer was to San Diego State. And it's been one of those, how would the program have been different if he actually had come onto the campus? But anyway, dude, is there anything else, man, the Aztec Nation, that you got their ear right now that you feel like they should know about you?
You guys are getting a quarterback that's willing to come in and compete. I love competition. I'm not scared of competition, and just know that you're going to have a guy who's always going to put his best foot forward for Aztec Nation.
Thank you for your time, Liu. Good luck in spring camp, and we look forward to seeing your development as an Aztec.
Thank you.
Our final guest is Logan Tanner, tight end from Houston, Texas. Tanner put up 1,200 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns in his final 2 seasons of high school. He was heavily recruited, received 22 offers, including 2 from Power 5 schools, Utah and Baylor, but chose to Aztecs to become the next in line tight end to make it to the next level. Welcome, Logan, and thank you for being a guest on the inaugural episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing great, actually. It's 11 o'clock here. I know it's early for y'all, but I had some training this morning. Just had a good day so far, so thank you for having me.
Great. So, in the tight end room at San Diego State, there are players who have turned down, Alabama, Ohio State, USC, Baylor, Utah, among Power 5 teams. What makes San Diego State such a great place for tight ends?
I think what Coach Hoke is doing, what Coach Heck is doing, just expanding the field, really using making it into like it's a great place for any type of tight end. I'd say I'm more of a hybrid tight end. I can run, catch the ball, but we have some other tight ends that could just lay the wood on you and just knock you out. So I mean, it's great for both sides of the world. So I feel the big decision for me was how they would give me the ball, and I think even with Daniel Bellinger, he's a baller. So we'll see him in the NFL, and he was best of both worlds too, just himself. So just seeing him play and seeing how Coach Heck just laid out the offense for me and told me what I was going to do, it was really it was a perfect match for me.
And kind of building off that, man, when we asked Coach Hoke about you, he said exactly what you kind of just said, that you're able to do everything, a little bit of everything. Could you describe your game a little bit more?
Yes, sir. So, like I said, I'm a hybrid tight end. I'd say I am. I'm mainly a route runner. I can catch the ball, get some yards after catch. That's my biggest strength. But I can hit you. I can put you in the ground if I need to. But I say starting off, I got the sure hands. I can guarantee a first down. And I can just be that secret weapon that defenses don't see coming.
So you're one of 14 for the class of 2022, but of one of only 3 who are enrolling early this coming semester. Why did you choose to enroll early?
I chose to enroll early, really just to get a head start. And also, one big thing for me was being able to get a master's degree, and coming early, I'm basically guaranteed a master's degree. So that was a big thing for me. But I'd say the biggest thing was definitely getting a head start.
How does the process actually work to graduate high school early? Paul and I, we didn't graduate high school early. We're just kind of curious, what you need to do that, and when did you actually decide you would enroll early?
Yes, sir. I actually have gotten that question so much recently. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. For me personally, my junior year of high school, I took no electives. I was in all core classes. I go to a private school, so we have theology class, and so I took an extra theology class last year. I took an extra English class and an extra math class. And then my sophomore year, I took an extra math class as well. But I've always wanted to be able to graduate early, not knowing if I was actually going to do it. But I think at the beginning of this year, the end of my junior year, beginning of this year, I knew I was going to graduate early. So it was a big family decision. Also, some of my friends played a big role into it, but and coaches. But I think it was for the best. So.
When will you actually get to campus at San Diego State?
So I'm driving there. We wanted to do one big road trip, and I'm from Houston, so it's 20 something hours, 22 hours, and so we're leaving on the 14th, January 14th. We're gonna get there the 17th or the 18th, and I start moving in on the 18th, and then I start classes on the 19th. So it's all coming pretty fast.
And then what are some of your priorities coming into the program, and what role did contributing right away play in your decision to come in early?
Really just first impressions is how my work ethic is, how hard I'm willing to work for them. Also a big thing for me was just to figure out my class load. I'm doing computer science, so that's going to be probably pretty hard. So I want to see what I'm dealing with, and graduate early, I just want to get a head start, and that's the biggest priority with me. Also, just building relationships with my teammates already, the upperclassmen. So,
and then spring camp's coming up. What is it that you are most excited about?
I'm excited about experiencing college ball. I guess it's just I know it's gonna be a lot. Everybody's gonna be bigger. Everybody's gonna be stronger. Everybody's gonna be faster. I'm just excited for the competition. Just excited to go out there and compete and just show what I got. So.
And San Diego State demands a lot of blocking from their tight ends. How important is it to enroll early so you can take advantage of the conditioning program, so you can better handle the rigors of blocking at the D1 level?
I think it was huge graduating early, just because I'm not a big blocking tight end myself. I am a big blocking tight end, but I'm more of a receiving tight end, like I said. So coming in, working with Coach Savai, and just learning some different techniques on how I can perfect my blocking and how I can be just a better tight end for the whole team, I think is a big thing. And just working with the other tight ends, we got Mark Redmond from Washington coming in, and I've been talking to him a little bit, and I think just learning from him and learning from the upperclassmen would be huge for me. So,
and you're gonna be part of the freshman class that gets to open up a brand new stadium. How exciting is it to be part of that as well?
That's really exciting. Just to help bring the city more into San Diego State football is huge for me, and that was actually a big part of recruiting for me coming to picking San Diego State. Was at stadium, and I got on my official visit, we actually got to walk around and stuff. Obviously it's not finished yet, but just seeing the plans they have, it's looking really nice. So
all right, man, so you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, favorite food?
Steak and potatoes.
What's your favorite movie or TV show?
Favorite movie is The Express, the Ernie Davis story.
And what do you got playing, man? What's your favorite musical artist or group?
I couldn't pick one. I'm like a big guy, like I listen to every genre. So I'd say right now I'm actually really into Tame Impala, but I also like I like Lil Baby a lot. So I listen to him all the time. Lil Uzi Vert, Drake,
Yeah, no, it's great. Who's your favorite professional athlete?
Conor McGregor for sure.
Why Conor McGregor?
Why not? You don't see a lot of people like Conor McGregor. He talks a lot of smack and he can really back it up. And recently he hasn't done too well about that, but just seeing how he, like, where he came from and who he is now. I don't know if you've seen the documentary. There's a couple documentaries, but I watched one of those and that was like one of the biggest like motivating things for me. I don't know. I love Conor McGregor.
So is that like is Conor McGregor kind of like your alter ego? Or do you also talk a lot of smack and then back it up?
I'd say both.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. Now you mentioned getting a master's degree. What is it that you're planning on getting a master's degree in?
Cybersecurity.
Very cool. Right on. Those are your rapid questions.
Sorry, thank you.
Just on the Conor McGregor, are we going to be seeing the Conor strut as your touchdown celebration at San Diego State?
I don't know. I'm gonna keep that one a secret. I don't know. Maybe it's like a surprise thing, I guess. I don't know.
Good answer. Is there anything else that Aztecs fans should know about you outside of football that we haven't asked about?
I live in Texas, so it's different than California. So. I'm just trying to experience some new things. I'm a big hunter. I've heard that some of the hunting in California is pretty good. Some of the fishing is pretty good. So maybe I'm just trying to experience some of that too, maybe on my free time.
Yes, San Diego State, I believe, had 12 players on the team this year from Texas. Have you had any discussions with any of those guys about kind of how life moving from Texas to California is?
Yes, sir. So actually, CJ Bakersfield. Baskerville, yeah. He was on my 7-on-7 team, like all through high school. Obviously he graduated like a year ago, 2 years ago. So I've been talking to him a lot. On my official visit, I actually hung out with him a little bit, so that was good catching up with him. But I've been talking to him about just the transition, just what to expect and stuff.
Well, Logan, thank you for your time today. Good luck in spring camp, and we look forward to seeing your development as a San Diego State Aztec.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So, Paul, we had a chance to talk to all three early enrollees. What were your main takeaways from those interviews?
There were a few. I think the first one is that all three of them are approaching their time at SDSU in a very disciplined, very professional, very focused manner. Not only did they have to make a plan to enroll early, but they're talking about things like making sure they can get their master's degree and taking advantage of all of the scholarship money that they're being given to, right? They're talking about being able to take advantage of the weight program and being able to start their academic career, start their college careers with that eye towards what they're going to be doing in the future. And so very often talking to young people, when they think about the future, it's like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do, but it was very impressive to hear these three have such a developed plan. So that was, I think, number one. The second thing I think that really jumped out to me about the quarterbacks was how competitive they are. I loved Crum's answer, who said, essentially it's me. Like, I think that I'm going to be the difference maker who's going to be able to take this team to the next level. And I hope that every single one of the quarterbacks on the roster has that attitude and mindset, right? Because obviously Crum is also talking about getting to know his teammates. Crum is also talking about, so it's not an arrogance, it's a confidence. And when you're offensive coordinator says that you need to be the most dangerous person on the field, that idea starts with the quarterback believing it first. And for him to come in with that mindset is really, really cool. The competitive part that Liu talked about with, even going into video games, man, that guy, he wants to compete. And so that really jumped out at me. The tight end position with Logan, I really thought it was a great, like, kind of a door into what an elite tight end is thinking about when they're approaching San Diego State. Very humble kid. And his idea that, he knows that he needs to improve as a blocker, but at the same time, he understands who he is, and he can be split out wide, and he can be a pass catching tight end. And that's where he has hung his hat, and that's his identity. And he's going in that to be, I think he called it a secret weapon. Secret's out. But it was really impressive, man. But what about you?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about quarterbacks, a lot, obviously. And sometimes that's the key moving forward. And both of these guys are competitive. I think the exact words Crum used was, I'm the missing piece, or I'm hoping I'm the missing piece. Liu gave a little bit more diplomatic answer to the question we asked him about that.
Sounded like his dad was a quarterback coach, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
That was a very polished, very, very good answer. Yep.
All three are excited to be coming Aztecs, as any kid should. But you could just feel how genuine they are and their excitement. I like the fact all three mentioned that they had gotten visits to the new stadium construction site during official visits. I don't know if we necessarily knew that or had heard that. So that was nice that the team had put that. And I think Logan even said that was a big part of his deciding to play at San Diego State at the brand new stadium. Non-football takeaways, both quarterbacks said The Office was their favorite show and they liked spaghetti as their favorite food. I mean,
Leo said lasagna.
He did, but then I think it was lasagna or any kind of pasta.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
So that quarterback camaraderie is already developed. I can see many nights of Office binge watching and pasta ordering.
They better be studying their playbook.
Yeah, well, that's afterwards, right? Got to have some downtime.
Right.
So that definitely caught my eye. And Logan Tanner, he said that Conor McGregor was his favorite athlete, and he kind of played coy when I asked him if we were going to see the strut for the touchdown celebration. So I feel like that's going to be in there somewhere. So Aztec fans, look out for that in the future, because I think Logan's going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns moving forward.
Yeah, and I think just piggybacking off of that idea, that camaraderie between them really, really matters. They talked about that they've already been in contact with Will Haskell, and Logan Tanner talked about that he's already talked to the tight end recruit who's coming in, transferring from Washington, and that camaraderie is really, really important. And I think when we talked earlier about the takeaways from the season, I think that was another thing that could have happened is, the running back room at San Diego State has always been close, but they've also always been successful. And a lot of times camaraderie is tested when you don't have success, right? Not having success can go one of two ways. You either get closer as a group, or it divides you and it drives you apart because you start blaming the other people or the coaches or whatever. And the quarterback room at San Diego State was incredibly close. And it wasn't fake. The quarterback room hung out together. They would talk about when you saw them around the field when the cameras weren't on them, there was a friendship that was very, very evident. And that Kyle and Liu are coming into that already with that kind of a mindset, I think gives us a pretty good glimpse into the kind of coach that Jeff Hecklinski is, that he would be able to not only see that in the players that he recruits, but that those would be kind of the expectations of what they're thinking about as they're getting into the program. And then one last thing for me that stood out, was the trips that the families were taking to be able to drop their kids off in college. And, you know, these are already elite athletes. And so the perception is that they're kind of on that other plane than the rest of us are at, you know. But it's the heartwarming story of a family leaving Texas and driving across the country, and they're going to drop their kid off at his first day of college, or from Utah and coming out and doing the same. And so I just thought that was neat that those families are going to get to enjoy that time together, and really make kind of that giving off to the coaching staff, giving their kids off to the coaching staff, a special lead up going forward.
Yeah, my final takeaway is the graduating high school early part. Each one has kind of a different path to that early graduation, obviously, but ending up in the same results. You know, graduating, being able to enroll for the spring semester. So that was interesting. As we kind of joked, you know, neither of us graduated high school early. So it was interesting hearing their perspective on what they needed to do in terms of classes and when they needed to start taking those extra classes in order to be able to be done by now, basically.
Yeah, and then adding to the list of weird things about the state of Utah, what is Liu still going to high school and finishing out his semester on by the 14th? I mean, what is that?
Yeah, there should be a rule that the semester should be done in December prior to the end of the year.
I mean, you would think. I was like, when he messaged me about coming on to the podcast, and he said, "Oh, I'll be at school and I can talk to you after I'm done." It was like, is he still committing early? Is he still coming early? He said, no, he's doing his normal, finishing up his semester, which is pretty wild.
That's going to do it for our first episode. We want to thank our guests that joined us on the first episode. We hope the listeners enjoyed hearing from some incoming Aztec players.
Absolutely. And we definitely want to thank them. And I would recommend to everybody to subscribe at all the places that you can subscribe to the podcast. But to listen to this episode and kind of make sure that it's bookmarked for you. Generally speaking, the university does not allow the media to speak to freshmen. So listen to it multiple times, because you're not going to hear from these guys for another couple of years.
Absolutely. So what do you think, Paul? We do another episode or what? How did this work out?
That's up to you, man. You're the boss. This is your baby. He's the host. I am the co-host, right? So, let us know how we did, ways that we can improve. Give us your comments. Again, we just want a platform to be able to tell the story of the football team at San Diego State.
Thanks again, listeners. And I think we'll do this again. Thank you. You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison.